What is up, guys, and welcome to the Crew Beta. Now, this is obviously a beta, and it was under NDA, but it's literally been lifted about an hour before I've started doing this video, which I'm quite glad because I've got quite a lot to say. Start off with the options menu. I've turned the audio down so obviously you can hear me and not that. You've got quite a lot of different settings and controls. What about graphics? Well, you've got this little worrying thing here called FPS limit, and a lot of people have been pretty worried about that, and for the beta it is capped at 30 frames a second. You can disable it, you can go into the documents and set it at 60, but as I'll probably talk about a bit later on, that kind of mucks up the game. A lot of things seem like they're tied to the frame rate, and it basically makes it not unplayable, but the game just doesn't work properly with that disabled. And set at 60 frames a second. So we've got it at 30 just to make sure it works. And then the rest of the stuff, there's quite a nice amount of settings to choose, as you can see here. So yeah, from a PC perspective that doesn't look too bad, and obviously I'm sure when the game comes out we won't have to put up with that 30 frame lock, or at least I certainly hope so, but I don't see any reason why it should. So basically what the Crew is, it's a racing game where you race across the whole of the USA, and when I say the whole of the USA, it's basically the best of the USA, kind of like cramped down into one quite large sort of area. And I have to say, it is a very large area. I've barely explored any of it relatively, really, but there is definitely a lot to see and a lot to do. So at the moment, I'm in the Midwest. All the missions really in the beta are up here, but there are loads of stuff you can see, and pretty much anywhere on the map you can drive to. So we will just go into the game now, and it's probably quite quiet, but you know, there's been complaints before that the game volume's been too loud, so I thought I'd change it up. So this is all running at 30 frames a second. Of course you wouldn't notice any difference anyway, because at the moment YouTube only supports up to 30 frames a second video. That is changing soon, so that will be quite exciting. But as you can see, there's kind of like this grain at night. I'm not sure whether I like that or not. They've kind of done that obviously for a reason. I personally would like an option to take it off, but it doesn't make that much difference. Right, let's get into a race. There are all these different events, things here, little like slalom, skills, escape, all this little stuff. It's almost like the old classic Need for Speed Most Wanted. There's quite a lot of stuff to do, all these little challenges, and every challenge you do you can upgrade your car. Now there is, I believe, a mission to do somewhere. This one, Turf War. Have I got to do that? I'm not really sure. I guess that's it. Or have I? No, we'll go and do this one because I actually don't think I've done this one. So what you do, you set your waypoint and off you go. And you can do that for all the way across to the other side of the US if you want. It's all in the beta. It's like, the game is about 15 gigabytes, I believe, and there's definitely a lot to see and a lot to do. Obviously, from a graphics point of view, I think it does look very good. And I have to say, I've never thought I'd say this, but 30 frames a second actually seems really nice at the moment, because I did uncap it, played it for about an hour and a half, and then basically what the car would do, it would almost be like the car was running at 30 frames a second and the world was running at 60. So the steering was off. That wiggly line that you see at the top, that was juddering. Basically a lot of things seemed like they were running at 30 frames a second. So if you do get into the beta, and I believe it's still free to apply, just go over to the website. I will leave a link in the description below, and you can sign up and you can play it for yourself. But it's only got a couple days left, so if you're watching this after Friday the 25th, then I'm afraid you're out of luck, at least until the next beta, if there is one. Graphically, though, it does look good, and I'm sure, as I've said, that the frame rate will be unlocked, so I don't really think we need to worry about that. But there have been quite a few bugs in this beta. It's almost, I'm not going to hesitate to say it's been one of the most buggy betas I've played, but you can't really have a go at the developer for that, because it's a beta. We play so many games these days that are betas, that are basically demos. It's almost like people have forgotten what a beta actually is. So I don't really think we can have a massive go at the developers for that. But I'm quite excited just because the core gameplay is actually really good. Obviously it's a shame that some of it is a little bit buggy and things sometimes won't quite work. Stuff like the 30 frames a second cap, and then there will just be odd things that will happen from now and then. What is this? You seem to have... And this is another thing, you can't mute other people. So I'm gonna stop the video and sort it out. So there will occasionally be someone else in this game, but there's nothing I can do about that because the game is fundamentally broken at the moment, unfortunately, in that respect. But other than that, there is quite a lot of good stuff to say about the game. You do have these big crews that you can form with all your friends, and the whole idea behind it is pretty good. You can just play with anyone you want to, and you can go and do any mission together. You're literally not limited just to random stuff. You can do pretty much anything you want with your crews. I've actually gone past the point where I meant to go there. Right, so you see you could do quick co-op if you wanted to with your friends, but we're just going to do this one solo. And then depending on how well you do, you get a medal, and that medal will then give you like a different part that you can use to upgrade your car. And the better you do, the better parts you get, so the better you'll be able to drive. You have different styles of cars. This one is like an off-road sort of style. You also have street performance, loads of other different classes of car, and loads of different missions, because obviously there's loads of different terrain in the US. So this is just a standard race for the looks of it. Wasn't really paying attention to what I had to do, but yeah, no, I have to say that at its core, this is actually a very neat little game, and obviously that's what you should be getting from a beta. You should be getting a taste of the game and whether it is going to be fun to play and whether it's going to be something you want to do, whereas at the moment we're so used to having these different betas that allow you to basically get a full demo of the game, whereas with this, it's definitely quite an unfinished beta, so to say. But I have to say that the core gameplay is pretty good, and the world really is pretty much as big as they say. It's one of the biggest game modes in a racing game I've ever played. That plane is clearly scripted. But how does the car handling feel? Obviously, that's one of the other big things. And if you have it capped at 60, then it feels completely rubbish. That solar flare there has just reminded me that currently, and it isn't beta, so it doesn't really make that much difference. If you have SLI enabled, then this game just won't work. The solar flares turn your screen black, so you can't look at the sun. So obviously that's pretty stupid. Oh yeah, I forgot, you also have nitros. How about that? I'd completely forgotten about that. Oh god, I'm going to hit a tree. No, I'm alright. I'm alright. Car handling, yeah, feels okay. I think it needs tightening up, definitely. And if it actually is tied to the frame rate like it looks like it is now, then that is very worrying, to say the least. There's quite a lot of car customization as well. You can go all over the country and get different silver medal, that's right, and get different cars from all over the place, and then you tune them up depending on that part of the country. So I guess that's more, +7, how about that? So you auto equip parts, and then you see your car gets better. You also have like a online level and stuff as well. Pretty neat. And then we go back to free drive. There's quite a lot of content, as I've kind of already mentioned in this beta. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, this woman that you see on screen, you're like an undercover FBI agent now. You got arrested. Yeah, so you're gonna try and infiltrate this underground racing league. Probably should have mentioned that, but let's be honest. This game's just about going out and racing with your friends. I feel like in some ways it's almost kind of feels like I don't know how to put this. It almost is kind of like reminding me of like GTA free roam, except not quite as good. Obviously it's not geared, it's not meant to be that, it's just meant to be a racing game, but when you make such a big free roam game, I guess you can't help but make that sort of comparison. You can't obviously go around doing drive-bys, but yeah, you can pretty much go around racing anyone you want. The police seem a little bit off at the moment. You can speed past them at like 150 miles an hour and they don't go chasing after you. It's only if you touch them that they come after you. So that feels a little bit off at the moment as well. But if they literally keep it as it is, in the sense that they have this big open world, which obviously they're not going to get rid of that, with all these missions, and there seems like there are quite a lot of missions, even if they are not fantastically well voice acted. The main voice actor is actually the guy from Infamous Second Son, if you've played that, and obviously Joel from The Last of Us. Let's do another race. Obviously he's good, but I'm not really sure he kind of suits this role. Maybe it's just 'cause I'm so used to him being in other stuff, but he's a great voice actor, but I almost feel as if he's being overused at the moment. He's in pretty much everything. But yeah, racing, good. Open world, good. Graphics, I have to say, very good. Runs on a single GTX 680 at 60 frames a second if you disable the patch at about 85% load, so you need a semi-beefy rig to run it on max, but nothing too stupid really. It actually runs quite nicely. Cars obviously on different terrain will react differently, so you need an off-road vehicle if you actually want any control. Oh, and the most wanted. Yeah, you have these little police chases here. These don't look like police, though, do they? They look like farmers. That's a terrible accent. Grass looks good, fields look good, sky looks good. Ubisoft actually have really good sky. It's kind of a weird thing to say. Far Cry 3 was one of those that sky looked pretty mad. Oh yeah. Oh, you can take people out, and that bar will go down. It kind of feels a little bit off. Again, another thing, just because you see you can do tiny amounts of damage, but sometimes when you hit them a bit more, it doesn't do that much damage, and then yeah, the damage modelling seems a little bit off there. Where am I supposed to, I'm just meant to escape. Okay. Yeah, so there is definitely a nice variety of missions. Yeah, there's a nice variety of missions, but well, I'm going to admit here, I've kind of lost my train of thought and don't really know what I was going to say, to be honest. I'm just trying to concentrate on the racing now. Yeah, I shouldn't have admitted that. Yeah, so oh, yep, there's a bug. That looks good, doesn't it? I'm almost glad that happened, just to prove you I wasn't making it up. This game is bugged, but it's a beta. So you can take him out, and their bar will go down. But oh, there we go, he's dead. Well, I don't know if he's actually dead. Hopefully not. Hopefully he's, you know, going to get an ambulance, or maybe he just gets out all right. But his car is probably going to be a write-off. All right, let's use a bit of skills here. A bit of skills. Oh yeah, I always forget about the nitros though. It almost seems a bit out of place, to be honest. Maybe I don't know why. It just almost does. No, that was me. Car damage modelling, not too bad. Like the windscreen will crack and stuff, which I haven't really seen that much of that before. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's like next. Well, the whole game feels and looks pretty next gen actually. I have to say. Obviously, I haven't seen it on a next gen console, but I imagine it's not too far off from what it looks like here. Won't be as good, obviously, but won't be too far off. I would imagine it's the sort of game that will scale quite well. I think I've got away here. Oh, I thought that was an invisible car, but no, I think I'm okay. Oh no, there are civilians, but you'll see, like, you can't really run them over. They just always seem to jump out the way. That's probably a good thing. Shouldn't encourage going around ramming down civilians. Hey, level up. So I think that is pretty much the place to leave it, really. You can drive all over the world if you want. That would take far too long to show you all that, but believe it when they say that there is a long way to drive in the game. Obviously, it's not the whole of the US. Like they're almost saying you can drive across the whole of the US, but you know, take that with a pinch of salt. Yes, the main parts of the US, but obviously it's not the entire US because that would take you days. There you go, voice acting. So yeah, you get these little cutscene-y things. They look nice. Yeah, I have to say they look pretty flash. Yeah, let's put. Right, so this is obviously the part where I would normally give my verdicts and say, should you play? And obviously, I have a habit of saying yes to betas. You should play them because they're free. But I'm not sure whether I would buy the game at the moment. I think if I was interested in racing games, I probably would. It's not my main genre. It's definitely something I would consider buying. At its core, it feels very good. It's just had so many bugs in the beta that I'm almost not used to. Oh, there you go. There's a little mini game. I'm almost. I've blown that completely. You can restart that. So I'm not completely sure what. You shouldn't pre-order it, but you shouldn't pre-order any game. And this is the perfect time to leave it because there's another guy in the game that I can't mute. So I think if you're interested in this game, definitely try and get hold of the beta. Right. I'm just going to say thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to PC Centric for more videos like this. I've never heard my own voice like that. That is just awful, isn't it? Yeah, so thank you very much for watching. Don't pre-order it. Try and get hold into a beta if you can. This is so off-putting. And I'll see you in the next video.